days, which we love that guy. Um, but yeah, everything's so much easier because we both know like we're both creative people, and like before we had to like run it through. Oh yeah,
You know how to hook it on? Oh, you don't have the thing. It won't work because you don't have the sticker.
what about on the one on the?
Here, I'll fix it. Here, give me. No, hand me that thing.
We're in the studio, everyone. YouTubers, we love you. Thanks for coming out.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna get us up and running.
She glued it on. All right. Well, here, I'll fix the other thing.
All right, Darrell's fixing the other thing. We're gonna be started in just a few minutes.
Oh, I don't have another one. Okay, how about on here?
Does that have one of those clanky ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Darrell. I mean, that Darrell. To be fair, that's the one you were saying to use.
Do you have a finger? That one comes out and that one comes out. We got our fingers. And then
stick it in there.
yeah, but don't hit your buttons because I've done that. Okay, well,
Seems like it should. Oh, it goes that way. That's right.
now
And
watch your
then-
buttons.
Don't I have to zoom? Oh, here we go.
Oh yes.
Zoom meeting. Do you know how little I've zoomed? I did like one therapy session.
Well, this is a therapy session.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Free therapy.
It should come in automatic. Oh yeah, hang on. We gotta let in Cass.
Gotta let him cast. Crying out loud.
Yeah.
It ain't a show.
Am I just gonna be like Madonna, where I just have one name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does this?
Although, it's all right if we share the full name, just
I don't mind.
AKA.
Oh,
Yeah. But after that,
Yeah.
you will be known
now,
by one
where's your
name.
magic phone?
Ooh, ah, magic phone. I want it. I want it. Whoa.
No, that's only because this you gotta use your earbuds.
Wait, I got earbuds.
Should I forget those?
Don't worry, I have earbuds.
Ah.
Let's mute that baby for now.
Oh,
All you gotta do is hit mute.
meow, 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 meow,
Oh, yeah,
meow.
look, it's your earbuds.
I might have some in my bag.
Just look, take a peek.
All right. Is that better? All right, all right, all right, already. All right, already. We all hold on. Okay.
Do you have them? Oh, she's looking.
All right.
I got them too. I forgot the code to our Wi-Fi.
You can share it.
Oh, but I can't. I got my phone.
I wonder if I can
You
share
can
it.
share it. I just let her know we got them.
If anyone pops in, we're just getting ready, setting up a guest who's in the studio today. Miss Cass from the Catnip Coalition, where Darrell has art. My wife is selling her iTink Studios vintage wear and bags and such. Super excited.
Open up more. You remember that show?
I just turned the volume all the way down on your phone so it stopped.
No, here, this is going in.
Yeah, then you'll have to just turn your volume back up so you can hear it because.
Oh, here, should say Darrell's. Hang on, let me press it. or these need to be in it?
Maybe.
Okay, you ready? I hold this down, right?
Delicious.
Yay.
Found it. Okay. Should pop up.
Success.
Okay.
All right.
Pop those in.
I'm gonna take
And then, oh, we got to put it in your thing, in the,
And then this guy.
and then hit the, do you see Zoom camera? Or you want me, oh, you know what you're doing? Is it out?
No.
Huh?
It's
Unmuted. There we go.
Do the camera.
Um,
It's on, here, I'll show you, because it's Zoom.
I probably have.
Here we go. So you gotta tap it like that. And then hit that thing.
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, there.
Is it working? Oh. Wait.
right.
Right?
No, let me see. I don't know why I did that.
So can I make it to where I don't have to look at myself?
Yeah. What's weird is why is it? Okay. Now let's do this. Ed knows how to do this. When they're both like this, how do you fix it?
I don't know why it's is the thing locked somehow, or
No.
you know how like on the phone there's a point where you can unlock the rotate. Look, if you pull that down and make sure that's not locked. No.
That was locked. She has lots of amazing.
There we go.
Is she okay?
Yep.
Now you don't have to see yourself. You're very tiny. Oh wow, you look good.
Was it paused?
No,
There we go.
wait. Are you on Wi-Fi?
Am I? Am I be? Am I supposed to be?
I think Wi-Fi would make it more right.
Yeah.
Can you share it with her?
Yeah.
Ed's gonna share the Wi-Fi code.
I gotta remember how I do that, but roast beef. Is there a will it are you going to the one that says studio?
Yeah, go to the one that says
Studio?
studio.
One of the
then
maybe even
hit
your
info.
computer might say it.
Because
There'd
that's
be a way to share it for sure.
I think that's
Where's
a
the info?
I thought that was the easy way.
Oh, I have it right here. It's Gidget.
No,
Oh, here we
wait,
go.
no, don't share it. That's how you do it. Don't say it.
No, I was gonna tell her.
I know, but
Oh. Well, no one's gonna come here and break your password. Got it. Okay.
so you got it. Did you send it to her?
Yep.
Should open.
Did you get it?
Oh, it's connected.
Okay.
That's much better.
Yeah, now it's working.
All the people
So-
out there. Yep.
And I'm gonna have that little reverb in my ear.
Wait, I'm gonna make it. Do you hear reverb?
It's like off by like a.
I hear it like that.
Oh, you know why? Because we're not gonna need this audio.
Oh yeah, we'll
on.
turn all of. But we just got to make sure it's not echoing through there.
No, it's not. It's echoing because we're hearing and it's coming back. But what? Hello?
All right.
Say?
Okay. So we'll just have the conversation in real time.
In here.
What if I just put one in?
No, we put them both in. You're not gonna hear reverb now. Do you hear reverb? You still hear reverb?
It's a little bit less.
Wait, are you saying because what you're hearing in your ears is a
After
lag,
us.
a lag from what
It's
we're
like a
saying?
little bit of, yeah.
But it's not in the audio. It's just in real time. You're hearing this, and then you're hearing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Once we start, you don't even need those.
I don't.
Oh, no, she does, because that's her microphone.
Right.
Can I just hold it? Like,
I think they shut off when they're not in your ear.
really?
Yeah, Apple technology.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
You're gonna hear two voices. Oh, no, she does, because that's her microphone. Oh, wait.
If
I think they shut off when they're not in your ear.
There's definitely something going on there.
Why is there a thing?
Oh.
it might trip me out a little bit. It might make my
Yeah.
Well, what's another way to do it, Ed?
previous
Oh,
use.
I know how we could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a simple fix. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Cass is gonna have a comment made. Bring your comments. Bring your water.
Oh wait, do I have to go somewhere weird?
No, not too weird.
You guys are getting a tour of the grounds.
Wait, I'm not going to be hanging out with you guys. I'm just going to be listening.
Darrell, this is crazy. We've never had someone at the house before, so this is a whole new at the studio. We're just getting that dialed in. Hey, Barbara Weatherman, nice to see you.
I liked hanging out with you guys.
We do have a great show and a great guest, as you can see. We're just getting her set up right now.
I'm crawling into the dog kennel. I'm gonna do it from there.
Well, she has her audio on, right? Yeah, she's got earphones.
Can she hear us?
Can you hear us? Now, do you hear echo?
Not a bit.
Okay, good.
I
Oh,
wish you weren't such a good problem solver. It's okay.
well,
All right.
you look great.
Thanks. I actually like this light better.
Yeah, you look very good. 20
Right.
years younger.
So let's have Cass shut down her camera.
Oh, no, I'll do it.
Oh,
So
we'll
it's-
mute you in camera and all that. And then
Yeah,
we'll,
so
we'll
that
get
way you
rolling.
don't have to try to figure it out.
There you go. Stop videos at the top. There you go. There you go.
All right. Oh, gotta make sure you're on the right Wi-Fi. Oh, gotta make sure you're on the right Wi-Fi.
All right. It appears to be working now.
Is
All
it
right.
on studio?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Studio it is.
Okay. We gotta get through this first half. You know why?
Why?
Because it's gonna be restroom time. Well, this is good because we could bring her in any time.
What do you mean? It's going to be restroom time?
Yeah. Okay. You
For
ready?
you?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Because we don't have to go long.
So you're recording audio? We're just going to pretend.
All right. Are you ready, Ed?
Let's go.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing,
Yes.
where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
That's right.
I'm Darrell,
I'm Ed.
and we are broadcasting live from middle school studios in beautiful downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
Why do you do the ice cream cone talk over the top that you always were like railing against before?
I know.
Is that the right way to do it?
No, I was just there. Much better.
For those of you who are not on YouTube, we're just adjusting our microphones, but welcome to the show. What were you just about to say?
Well, we have great news. We have the secret to living successfully. Actually, we have the secret to experiencing good fortune.
That's right, because fortune favors the bold. with today's guest, Megan Cassady, aka Cass, from the Catnip Coalition in beautiful downtown Burbank. So big ideas are inherently enthusiastic and therefore attractive. When we get in the swing of a big idea, it's impossible to hang on to limiting perspectives. The stronger your desires for good, the greater the power of your desires to produce that good for you. Psychologists agree that we influence people and circumstances by having great desires and great goals. It is as though everything and everybody subconsciously tunes in on our big desires and goals and gets busy helping us to achieve them. On this, what did I say here? On this episode, Darrell and Ed drive home the fact that man's only limitations are in the negative use of his imagination. And during the second segment, Cat-lovin Megan Cassady's experience proves our national motto, Annuit Coeptis. Did I say that right?
Annuit Coeptis.
Annuit
It's Latin,
Coeptis.
folks.
It's Latin for God favors our bold enterprises. Today's reading from Joyce Kramer will be Just to Take the First Step, for crying out loud. Man, we have a great show.
Yes, we have a great show because our guest actually lives this way and blows my mind about how adventurous she is. And it's so exciting to see how this method is scientific, that when you step out on a heart's desire, something you really are inspired to do and fall in love with the idea, and then you just take the next step, and then the next step presents itself, and then the next step presents itself.
Oh, wait a second, Darrell.
Yes.
My wife has just texted me that our audio is going on and off, in and out.
Audio is going on and off, in and out.
We can't have that.
Is it working there?
It looks like it's working there.
Oh, she's probably watching the beginning of the show.
She said it's still happening. Okay, let's see if it's happening after the official show start. Just want to make sure, because otherwise she said it's still happening.
Going
I wonder
in.
what's causing. Well, how's your Wi-Fi looking?
It's good. Full on.
And
And the box is working.
let's see what's going on.
Oh, just put it up. Oh, because if she turned it on, she might be at the beginning. And then the box is working.
Let's see, make sure. Because we're hearing it.
It sounds fine.
I want to make sure.
Because if she turned it on, she might be at the beginning. Yeah, it's working.
I'll tell her to reset her page. Because on ours, it's
fine.
okay. All right, good to know. All right, so you're saying, go on.
Well, now I forgot what I was saying. So, what else you got? Our
We
readings.
do have readings, yes. I just don't want to miss out if there was by chance something breaking up. Okay. All right. Let's see here.
We got two great readings to kick this off.
So one is from Raymond Charles Barker, The Science of Successful Living. And he says on page 38, it is a spiritual necessity to maintain a creative state of consciousness. Creative people set up vital currents in life that enrich the world. They have subconsciously accepted life as a vital, joyous experience, and their consciousness seeks out the unusual. They want fresh ideas in their mind. They choose to keep the world flexible and their viewpoints expanding. They are clear in their certainty of good. They expect good and give good. The entire area of both their conscious and subconscious minds is alive with the present and creatively anticipating the future. They are living life as the divine mind intended it should be.
Yes, and things will always end up coming, like you become magnetic when you step out boldly and you have a new creative idea.
Yes.
It's just like the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, They will come.
That's right. And your body and the people around you, all of life is responding to the types of ideas that you're responding to. So that's why we enjoy having Cass on the show, because she's not afraid to step out boldly on these big ideas, like starting the Catnip Coalition, which we'll talk about a little later. Yes, baby. A lot of the things that she's doing in that whole area there with that market you went to recently. But it's just, some people will step forward. Everyone has big ideas. Not everyone will step out boldly to see them through, but we can all see them through. We can learn how to start stepping out boldly, which is thankfully what this show is all about.
Well, what about the definition of bold?
Oh, yeah.
Out of Oxford's dictionary.
Darrell sent me this
because
definition
we might
this
as well
morning.
figure out, what does bold mean? Because a lot of people think it could be brash, it could be pushy,
Yes.
it could be shovey. Well, you want to let them know right out of the dictionary. This is the very first definition that will come up under the word bold.
A person, action, or idea showing an ability to take risks, confident and courageous.
Yes.
Confident meaning with faith, courage, with courage, living from your heart, stepping out boldly, taking what seems to be risks. But here's the thing, when we're in tune with our inspiration, we get a clear knowing, and when we take action on that clear knowing, we really can't fail. That's why James Decker in the book Magnificent Decision said, "Do not limit yourself, even in your thoughts. Do not allow yourself to believe, even for a moment, that the good you already have is as much as you deserve. You deserve the best." And a lot of us have to keep expanding. I do on a daily basis, keep refreshing that idea of how much do I deserve? How much can I have? And shoo away any of these dead thoughts that would tell us that there's a limited amount.
I keep getting excited about Cass's story. I can't wait to get her on the air.
Which story?
The whole thing, how the Even Yes Baby started.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so
people
good.
need to hear this because it's so inspiring and it's just so simple. The only thing that would have gotten in the way at any stage of it from the story she shared is if she talked herself out of it. Like it says that in the description here, that man's only limitations are the negative use of imagination.
Yes.
And it's just amazing how that didn't get into her head during this whole thing. And it started during COVID, of all things. It's that new. All these things she's done have only happened within the last 5 years. That's
Right.
crazy.
Well, I guarantee when we talk to her, we'll find out that these things did get into her head. So we're going to find out, how did she manage to move through it and
Yes.
not fall prey to it, because that's very important to understand, is everyone's dealing with the same mind and emotions. It's funny you just said that too, because a paragraph in The Science of Successful Living by Raymond Charles Barker, he says that there are two ways of directing your subconscious, and you are free to use either. You can use it humanly or divinely. It responds to both and fulfills the commands of both. The human mind use of it wears you out. The spiritual recognition of your subconscious as a divine instrument, which produces your ideas of freedom, and your loving right use of them gives you the equivalent of heaven on earth. Then you are in the world, but not of it. You live with ease, for you know your source, and you hold fast to creative thinking. Because you're going to be you're going to be around people who don't agree with your ideas, small-minded thinking. They're all over the place. The miracle is, how do we find a way to stay connected to divine ideas and move forward, like you're talking about, like Cass has done, which is downright amazing.
I think that had the secret in there, because it said it's all about feeling. You don't even have to know a lick about spiritual.
That's right.
You don't have to know anything about what these books we read.
Yes.
Yeah. You could be uninformed about anything from all these philosophies we talk about on the show. The truth is, and I know from my own experience, and I'm sure Cass is going to just highlight this point, that when we start having the inspired idea and the desire, like he said, it feels good. And then it's just a matter of continuing in the direction that feels good, in spite of what other people might be saying or doing around me, and it will work out. I was doing things before I read any of these books, even as a kid. I would get the idea that me and my brother were gonna build a go-kart better than the other kids in the neighborhood whose dads built them go-karts. My father wasn't gonna have anything about that. He was too busy, and he was a single parent. But I watched the Little Rascals, and I was like, wait a minute, they could build a go-kart, just finding junk in the neighborhood behind the various factories. And so I'd get my younger brother, we'd march around town finding parts. And what happened was, originally I thought we were going to use carriage wheels, because there was, back then, baby carriages were before strollers. Everyone
Right.
had baby carriages. So the baby carriages had wheels that
Yes.
I thought would work, but they were subpar. They didn't roll fast, and they'd buckle under the weight of this massive wooden go-kart we built.
Right.
But because we were so enthusiastic that this was going to happen, and it was going to be better than the one that, we'll just call them Fred and Paul's dads built, because they had like the Sears kit that you buy.
Ah.
And their dads put it together. But me and my brother were determined. So once you're in that good feeling, it's magnetic, because then we found, how are we gonna paint this thing? And discarded on the side of the freeway behind our house was a big gallon of this orange highway paint. I guess the road workers didn't want to put it back in the truck after they were painting the warning curbs. So we said, okay, it's gonna be bright orange. And then we're stuck without the wheels, because the carriage wheels aren't working, baby carriage wheels. And all of a sudden, this neighbor, living next door to us, who was probably in his 20s, says, oh, yeah, you're building a go-kart? I said, yeah. He goes, let me show you something. And he brought us into his attic, and he showed us these are official derby wheels. And he spun the wheel on the axle. He goes, look, it'll never stop.
Wow.
And me and my brother, like, hypnotized. And I go, oh, we could sure use those on our go-kart. And he said, okay, $5 for the whole set. It doesn't sound like a lot now, but $5 back then, for some reason, I guess, was astronomical. Because I asked my dad for the $5, and he said, that's too much. See if he'll go lower. And he wouldn't go lower. But because of the momentum, one of the other neighbors, I got hyped up about this go-kart dream. I got him to convince his dad to pay for the $5 to invest in this. Like, I was really like starting my own racing company, because I got these investors, like this other guy's dad, to invest in the wheels, and that way his son will be part of the crew. And man, it's just amazing. This happens all the time. Even the book I just did, which is all about this, The Step Out Boldly, The Hidden Meaning of the Statue of Liberty, which now I'm thinking I should have called it The Spiritual Meaning of the Statue of Liberty. But hey,
But you're wrong now, because that's the perfect title. That's the good news.
Okay, good.
Keep going.
So this whole story of the symbols in the Statue of Liberty, the spiritual symbolism in there, is exactly what we're talking about today. That you will be guided, your intuition will illuminate your way, which is what the torch means in her right hand. It's providence
Yes.
guiding you. She's stepping, she's not standing still. As long as you're willing to take the tiny, small step
Yep.
in the direction of that dream you have, well, then you start becoming magnetic to it. And it starts with a decision. And that's why she's holding the tablet, which has the Declaration of Independence date on it, is because it's highlighting the fact that results always follow decisions. And when you make a decision, which is a personal declaration, well, then the universe will start conspiring. Things begin to fall in line with your decision. And the 7, this is just a quick summary of the book, but it's what we're talking about. And those 7 rays of light around her crown, they symbolize this heightened state, this joyful state of consciousness
Yes.
that when you are pursuing your dream, this magnetic, wonderful, joyful feeling, even without telling people, your whole vibe is actually inspiring others to do the same. your whole disposition. And the reason there's 7 of those rays is because it means that this is true regardless of who you are or where you are. This will work regardless of your circumstances, where you are, who you are, all across the 7 continents and the 7 seas. That it's a divine science. It's scientific.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And that's how I did this book. I mean, I had the same thoughts. I got so excited to do it. Nancy Norman said, you should do that because, the small little book on this topic. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got that done. Then Kirk said, well, you should illustrate it yourself. And I went, oh. But would fall in love with it. And I would just keep doing the next step. And it just came together so much more quickly than I anticipated. But I had to do what you were saying. I had to keep swatting away the doubts, also swatting away, I should be pushing through this at a faster rate or whatever the stupid things we tell ourselves out of fear, and just kept relaxing back into that enthusiastic, inspired desire. Like, why am I doing this? Instead of, I want to get this done, or how's it going to get done?
Right. That's right. Yeah, it goes along with being transformed by the renewing of our mind. Because like last night I was laying in bed, and for a while I've been having trouble falling asleep, and I realized it's because my subconscious mind, I'll do my evening routine and I'll be very high off of those ideas. I'll be refreshed, and then by the time I lay down, and sometimes in between there, it's on me. I'll like look at something I shouldn't look at in that little period before I lay down. Or when I lay down, I'll be like,
what, YouTube
or whatever it is, and on the phone.
Yeah.
But I realized my subconscious mind, for me, it's been a vulnerable time where it'll start filling me. It's like, oh, we got you alone in the bed. Now I'm going to start telling you all the things that you should be worried about. And you're talking about making a decision. And I just, from The Power of Decision, I read it last week, but I've been sticking to this, which is I have made the decision to be happy. So I tell that to myself and my subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is like, I was thinking about this. It's like when you go on your computer and you open up a document, and there's like a program that will autofill the spaces with your name, your date, who you are, like it wants to fill that information in for you. That's what our subconscious, and that is the trickiest thing to all of this. I really believe, to continue on the path, what do you do when your subconscious mind autofills your day with all the same crappy stories that you used to believe, right? Like, how do I get through that? Lately, it's like you said, I've made a decision to be happy. And I'll talk to my subconscious mind, just that it's my, not talk to it, but I'll say my subconscious mind's job now, and I got this from Raymond Charles Barker, is to use everything in its creative power to bring about my happiness. That's your job. And I have to keep shooing away there'll be a high that comes through about being right, about feeling bad, about not being able to do things, about being angry at people around me. Because that's another thing. Clear out all the resentment from all the people around you. I love this book, Miracle Power for Infinite Riches, by Joseph Murphy. And he was talking about a fellow who came to see him and was trying his best to pray and affirm the good. But then when he was done praying, he was holding a lot of resentment toward other people. And he was saying that was killing his ideas. That was killing his prayers.
His grudges and peeves.
His grudges and peeves. And believe me, man, it doesn't even matter if you're telling them to other people or not. I've had a lot of secret ones that I wouldn't even admit in the past. That's a grudge or a peeve, but it is, because it feels bad. And so he gave him a prayer. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he told him to say, and I recommend this: I forgive myself for harboring negative and destructive thoughts, and I release my former employers and present associates to God completely, wishing for them all the blessings of life. And that goes with what I learned from Wallace Wattles, which is, and we talked about this recently, which is one thing that helps me, I think, not only do I want increase for me, I want my increase to increase everyone around me. And this has been a good litmus test because especially with people that I know well, I'll get lazy and I won't think to myself, I want Darrell to increase every time I come around him, or Cass or Lori or my wife. But thinking about it that way,
Yeah.
and this book that you wrote is, I think this is your best book ever. I mean, all your books are great. They've gotten better and better, but you always loved little pamphlets. You've
Yes,
always
I
talked
know,
about it. And now
yes.
you've made one. I read it the other day for my morning routine because I was like, oh, I think it was last week. And I was just like, I haven't read his book yet. And I couldn't stop reading it. And everything in here is so clean and the art is so clean, but it's perfect. And I watched you use this process to think the big idea and then let the big idea guide you. And that's what, like Cass is one of those people, she gets the big idea.
Yes.
And when and for me, when I'm at my work, when I put out a big idea about what I see for my student, not some limited, maybe we can make this progress or that, but just, this is an amazing person. Like when I realize when I talk to parents from my inspired perspective of this is an amazing person with an amazing mind for math, I don't need to cite little details of where exactly they are, but I just point out their gifts.
Yeah.
Everything starts to take off. And
Yes.
this week has just been showing me. So it's really important for me to tell myself, I have made the decision to be happy. And I did that last night when I laid down. And wouldn't you know, before long, that voice that used to keep me up started to recede because I was like, I had to tell that part of me. I said something to myself, which we've said before, but I said, let the dead bury the dead. Any thoughts that feel bad and don't conjure up life, but conjure up a feeling of restriction, that's a dead thought. So I just said, let the dead bury the dead.
And they're from the past, which is
yeah,
dead.
exactly. What was amazing last night is in that moment, I realized, wow, I can think any thoughts I want. I started thinking about all the big houses in my neighborhood and how I'm connected with all of that. And whatever it was, I just started thinking about the surfing I like to do, about Darrell and I having our own studio. A whole new set of thoughts, completely unrelated to what that old program wanted to think. I thought new big thoughts. And when we think new big thoughts, not only does it inspire the people around us, but I believe our organs inside our body respond. They start to vibrate with those good thoughts. We need to feed our world big inspired thoughts.
Well, are we ready to move on and bring in Cass?
Yeah, let's do let me thank the Patreon people.
Yeah, because I'm excited to get Cass on.
Yeah,
here. She's
yeah.
waiting in the green room.
Right. I want to thank Patreon people for contributing to the show.
Yes.
Patreon.com/funniest thing. It really, really
Makes a difference.
flows in and helps us and inspires us. So thank you. Lynn Beach, who was on the Patreon, listening to a Patreon, or what do you call it? The Tuesday Prosperity
Beach.
Zoom. Her name's Lynn Beach, but every Tuesday we do a prosperity Zoom. We've been off for a couple weeks, but we'll be back on this week, I believe. But she said reality versus creativity. Yes, thank you all. And that's what we're talking about. Reality that you call reality was shaped by someone else's creativity. You can shape your reality by thinking creatively. And that's another thing all of these writers, especially Wallace Wattles, emphasizes. Stay in the creative plane, not the competitive plane. Your ideas, Darrell's book didn't have to compete with anyone in a bookstore or anything else.
No.
He had the idea and he just let that idea come out. He didn't try to compete with anything.
No,
and now he's got a great
yeah.
book. If you want to send us anything, Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232. That's not her name. What's her name? It autofilled. See? It autofilled the wrong name.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Is
that the
Cora.
correct?
I think her name's...
Is that the correct last name?
Yeah, Ostashek is her last name. Anyway, she said, I just want to see it now because just like this is the perfect thing. Her name is Karina, but see, my computer autofilled Korean.
Korean.
But this was a new thing. My computer, the past doesn't know about new ideas, so it just fills in and tries to make it into something that it already knows.
I know.
But we don't want to do that. So Karina Ostashek, thank you, by the way, said, I've listened to this episode, which was the What's in Your Beach Bag
What's in your beach bag?
with John Waterhouse.
What's in your beach bag?
What's in your beach bag? Karina said, I've listened to this episode as a podcast 2 times and watched the video once. This is an awesome episode. Thanks, Darrell and Ed and Dr. Waterhouse. We want to thank the audio engineer, chief audio engineer out in Kansas City, Kansas. His name's Jeff Comfort, and each week
he takes us
right into the comfort zone.
Oh, we got lots of positive hands.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, who is that down there? Oh, Deborah, I think. Darrell, your book is a triumph. I read it a few times and inspired to share it with a coworker. Now I need another one. Fantastic.
Wait, is that Deborah from up north?
Is that where she's from? She
Wait,
always has
what's her
a
last
cool
name?
backdrop when she comes on the
Oh,
Zoom.
yeah. I love Deborah. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah, so
She's also an artist. Amazing artist.
an amazing artist, yes. So let's see. Oh, time for our 3 breaths.
Yeah. Oh, these are good ones. This actually, you know where that was sung first and recorded, where you saw the little video?
Shirley Temple one?
Right here in Culver City at
Wow.
MGM. Right here.
Right down the street.
1 mile from Middle School Studios is where this.
So listen, we really got to get good at saying farewell to the old thoughts in our own mind.
You remember what they're called, right?
What?
Fare thee well. You're gonna fare thee well them.
Well, we'll fare thee well. Yes. So we're saying fare thee well, and what I'm saying, to those old thoughts. And this is a good way to do it. Shirley Temple. Her last name was Temple, for crying out loud. We are going to the temple known as Shirley today.
Okay, go ahead.
Fare thee well, Mr. Gloom, be on your way. If you think you're gonna worry, better stop it in a hurry, singing Polly Wally Doodle all day. I think I changed the lyrics a little. Go ahead.
Fare thee well, Mr. Gloom, be on your way. How's it go?
If you think you're gonna,
If you think you're gonna worry,
you can stop it in a hurry, singing Polly Wally Doodle all day.
You're right, I did forget.
Fare thee well, Mr. Gloom, be on your way. If you think you're gonna hurry, you can stop it in a hurry, singing Polly Wally Doodle all day. Yeah. All right.
If you think you're gonna worry, you can stop it in a hurry.
You can. You can stop it right now. If you're listening to this show, don't go along with the program. Take a moment to just stop and make a decision to be happy, healthy, prosperous. Get some big ideas. You don't even have to get big ideas. You just have to let them flow.
They'll come. As soon as you stop worrying, big ideas come in. That's the way your brain is made that way.
Yep.
It's made as a giant, wonderful idea factory. And that's why meditation and doing a morning routine is so crucial.
Yes.
Because it really is love flowing in.
Yeah.
That's the big idea. It's always expansive.
Right. A lot of what we think of as thinking, I've been talking to my students about, is not thinking. It's resisting inspired thought.
Yes.
It's resisting true thought. And so, coming up next, the Cat-lovin Megan Cassady, a.k.a. Cass. Her experience proves our national motto,
Annuit Coeptis.
which is Latin for God favors our bold enterprise. We got a reading from Joyce Kramer. Just take the first step. For crying out loud, just take the first step. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, live from Middle School Studios in beautiful downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
All right.
All right. Are you
Oh,
tickling?
let me see if I could undo.
Thank you, everyone, for being patient today.
Okay,
figure
I'm
everything out.
going to go help her unmute.
Yeah, great.
Okay, that'll work. Hang on.
She'll be back. Oh, she's unmuted.
What?
And she's back.
Oh, wow.
Come on, this is a young, hip guest. We don't look at that hair. How are you?
Fantastic.
Great. This is we're live on YouTube, but this will not be on the audio podcast because Darrell's going into the house to say hello. Look at that.
The meeting is being recorded. Oh, hit OK.
Oh, do I have to?
You look good. You sound good. I don't know what.
Okay. I didn't know if that was supposed to be there or not. I know I'm supposed to be here.
We never know. It's all working out. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying your time at Middle School Studios, hanging out with Lori Fazzaro and such?
She got me calm and feeling confident, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Great.
yeah. And she and I have so much in common with her shared love for animals. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a joy to talk to her.
Great. What are you speaking into, your AirPods or the phone?
Me? The AirPods.
I wonder if it's better without the AirPods now that you're in there.
Well, then I'm coming back out to you.
Oh, yeah, right. All right. Let's just roll with this. Let's just roll with it, baby. This has been a great show so far. I can't wait till Darrell gets back and we can kick it off. Man.
I'm so inspired by this word bold.
Oh, that's what we love to hear. Here he comes. Okay. Hello, and thank you everyone once again in YouTube land for being patient today as we figure out a new thing, having someone on the grounds. All right, you guys ready?
I'm ready. You gonna bring us in?
Yep. All right, welcome back. Today's show is called Fortune Favors the Bold with Cass, aka Megan Cassady from the Catnip Coalition out there in beautiful Burbank. How are you, Cass?
I'm so good.
Well,
We're happy to be here.
Well, we're happy you're here. I've been wanting to get Cass on forever, and I'm glad it didn't happen till now because so much has happened since I originally wanted you on the show. Because we met Cass. I'm just going to give them a little background story. Our listeners, we met Cass. Right after we were allowed to go outside after COVID. There was this shop called Yes Baby in Burbank, and we were doing our show out in Burbank or Van Nuys, somewhere around there. So we would go to Burbank to have our lunch, after show lunch. And from the very beginning, I loved this shop. Plus, Cass was so positive, and Corey, your partner over there, it was just these two characters, all this great stuff. So, and it seems so well established. I mean, it's a storefront right on the main drag there on Magnolia Boulevard, if you're interested. And then I find out that this thing only started during the pandemic, the two of you doing that. And then since then, I get to know her, and she starts telling me, oh, yeah, I'm going to take over a shop over here to open up. And I'm thinking about, because, you know, cats are my thing, because she loves cats and rescue. And, of course, I was excited to have Lori meet Cass because of that. They both have the affinity for rescue. And she started telling me it's going to be a vintage mall where there's different booths, and we're going to always be doing something for the local cat rescues. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, this is insanely exciting. Like, okay, so she has this one shop, and now she's going to just go and do this. And sure enough, people filled in, all the tenants in all the various booths. I mean, the whole time I was like affirming your success the whole time since I knew this, because I wanted it to succeed. And yes, folks, it succeeded. Then 2 weeks ago, I end up in Burbank, and I go, I'm going to go stop by and hopefully bump into Cass and Corey at their shop. And I get there, and one of the girls at the one shop said, oh, yeah, speaking of you, Cass, she goes, oh, yeah, she's at the something such vintage flea market, art flea, whatever, walk. And it's at such and such, a few doors down. I'm like, what? I go there. Cass is out there. I just show up with my camera, and it's like this whole like cat rescue themed, like vendors, all different, you know, thrifts people and people making like new stuff and rescues. And then, so I see her, I'm like, holy cow, this is nuts. How are you doing this? She goes, yeah, well, and she's always like so like humble on the inside or mellow compared to like, I'm looking at this like, wow. And then I said, yeah, well, where's Corey? Oh, we have the other spot at this other parking lot. And I'm like, this is nuts. So that's just like a small overview, but you got to share how this whole thing, like in your mind, started with Yes Baby and then Catnip Coalition, and now the things you're doing.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It's a wild story, and thank you for that intro. Really for me, it's people like you I am a humble person. I don't like even doing stuff like this is like, I don't need the recognition. I'm just trying to have fun and be around people that I like, you know, help the world, help cats, especially. But that was very sweet, all the things you said. But it really started back. I'm from Wisconsin, and um, you know, I was living in Milwaukee, and the ceiling is pretty low there for like if you want to do great things. And I didn't even necessarily realize that I needed to do great things, but it was like deep down inside of me. I had wonderful parents that trained me to believe that I could do great things, and that's pretty critical in the equation. Um, but I ended up going to getting out of this bad relationship. I was bartending for like 10 years. And I mean, where does that path lead, really? You know, as much as it's fun and I worked at a beautiful place, it was, you know, you're feeding substances to people and it's not always positive. And I knew I needed more. So I ended up I was invited to my friend's wedding in Jamaica. Go to Jamaica, fall in love with this man, as I do. And he and I dated for a year, long distance, and he lived in LA. And I've always had this pull for California. I've always wanted to be there. And I've been in Milwaukee for 38 years. So I said, let's do it. I knew the relationship was not going to work, but I said, you know what? This is the catalyst. It's pulling me. So I said, let's do it. I'm going to leave all my friends and family. I have a beautiful community of friends. My family was there, my support system, everything I'd worked so hard for. I was like, I'm going to leave it. And I didn't even entirely know why. Like, it was just like this trust in this is what I need to do. And I was like, you know, literally my plan was I'm going to buy a van. I'm going to trick it out to be my home. And if things go wrong with this guy, then I'll just stay there. And that'll be my space. I'll go to Mexico if I want to. Like, it was just, who knew? So then come out here, sure enough, 3 months later, relationship done. But this man that I had been dating introduced me to Corey, who is my business partner, which he and I have just continued to build these beautiful things together. So 2 different occasions he brought me to Corey. And on the second time, I was like, there's something to this. So I asked for his number. A week later, we had our first date. A week after our first date, we had to talk and see each other. The pandemic happened. Everything shut down. So next thing you know, and at this point, I'm living in my van. And I'm like terrified to tell this man I'm living in my van also. So I end up moving in with Corey because he's a single dad of these 2 beautiful children and he's working so hard. And I'm like, you know what? I can help this man and he deserves it. And so we've been together. Pandemic happens, you know, there's everything shut down. We lose our jobs. We're like, how are we going to make our ends meet? So we start driving around and picking up furniture off the side of the road. And we did that for months and we'd flip it online. And we did that for months. And we were, you know, like photo staging all these beautiful little spots. And it was this like project we could put ourselves into at this really weird time. So that escalated into we had a storage unit we had to pay for to keep all of these things. And that turned into that's just wasted money. Like, why don't we just get a space? So we went and the second space we looked at was where the first Yes Baby vintage came to be, which was December 2020. We were celebrating 4 years. Literally this morning, which I don't go on Facebook often. I just go in and check to see if any really good or really bad things are happening back home. But I got these really beautiful pictures of like when we were just working on the store.
It's only 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I
my
know.
God. It's
December
incredible.
2020. I know. Yeah. So he and I just went down this path together, and it was just always this mutual support and belief in each other and in ourselves. And that's one of the things that I admired about Corey from the get-go is he's gone through so much and he's done so much and he just pushes through and he just believes in it. And he's like, nothing's going to stop him. And that really brought that part out in me. And so then we just, we opened a store, and next thing you know, people are coming to our store, fully masked, just needing something to do and thanking us for bringing life to a time where everything was dying. Everything was shutting down. People were sick. People were literally passing away. I mean, we all went through it, we know. Yes, Baby thrived. A year later, they tripled our rent on us. And it wasn't going to be sustainable to stay there because it was in a, weird little offshoot mall in North Hollywood. Already we had to make all these like signs that I spray painted them with Yes Baby Vintage with arrows pointed to them. We put them all over North Hollywood just to let people know we even existed because our location was so bizarre. So a year later, tripled our rent. And then a friend of ours had a shop in Burbank. And, I'd come into the shop a couple times. She's like, you need to be our neighbor. And we're like, we're not ready for Burbank. Like, we're just little babies. Like, there's no way. That's like real deal vintage row.
Yeah.
And so we went down there and we took the time to stop at every little shop and meet the owners and just get a vibe. Because as we know, LA can feel weird sometimes.
Yeah.
We're a lot weird. And everybody was so lovely. And we kind of threw out the idea that we were thinking about moving there. And every single person was supportive and encouraging. So next thing you know, we opened Yes Baby Vintage in Burbank. And I think you came in after a couple months.
Amazing.
Wasn't it? I think you guys first came in.
But the store looks so well established even after a few months. I thought it was like one of the stores that had been there forever. Like that's how it fit in. It didn't seem like this is a new whim that two young people came up with. It was rock solid. That's why I was like, what? You've only been here since the pandemic? Like it blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember your blown mind. Yeah. So, but it was people like you. And the other thing for me that was really a struggle, I had so many beautiful friends back home. And then I moved here. And as a lot of people know, the Midwest there's a lot of warmth and community there. LA isn't always that, but if you search, you will find it, but it takes time. And so for the first 2 years between the pandemic and just kind of the nature of LA, I was so lonely. I had no friends. It was Corey and his kids and that's it. And the most beautiful part of developing that store was, like you talked about, the magnetism.
Yes.
Suddenly all these people started coming to Yes Baby.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it was like, oh, that's like all these really eccentric, interesting people from all over are like finding us. And then I started to build this friend group and it just grown from there to be now it's home. LA never felt like home. And building that store really solidified this being home for me.
And then it's not even that long, and now it seems like Catnip Coalition, you guys share about that, because if anyone walked into either of these places, if you go to Burbank, if you live in Los Angeles and you listen to us, you got to treat yourself, go to Magnolia Boulevard. It's between, I guess you would say you could start at about what was that, Hollywood Way?
Hollywood Way. Mm-hmm.
And then take it going, which direction is that? Is that going east?
Take it east.
Yeah, take it east.
And go as far, you could arguably go all the way to downtown Burbank. The whole strip has little shops, and I've missed any that are further down. But I always say the bookend is Play Clothes, which to me is like the grandmother of the vintage stores there. It's just like a stunning shop, like incredible inventory. But
Yes.
there's like 7 different vintage stores within 4 blocks.
Yes, and it's so much fun. But so you got to share how, okay, you have Yes Baby. Yes Baby is only what, just a few years old. And now you get this bright idea. I remember when you told me, because, I really love cats. That's my thing. And you started telling me, so I'm thinking about, and you even told me before it was even happening, you're like, I'm thinking about doing a vintage mall because a shop a few doors down, it's coming available. And I was like, holy cow, that's amazing. So you got to tell that because
Well, it's so funny too,
it's
because
crazy.
Corey would be like, you got to stop telling people about it. I was like, he's like, you can't just like put these ideas out there. And I'm like, no, you have to tell people about it. You just have to be smart about who you're telling.
Yes.
You guys are definitely people that it's like, that's how you manifest it. That's how
Yes.
like we're mirrors of each other. Like I need you to show me that my idea is yes,
Yes.
because I believed in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically on the same block as Yes Baby, antique mall that had been there it was an antique store, had been there for like 10 years. She just was done. She didn't want to she did really high-end antiques, really beautiful store. It was almost like a museum. But her main gig was estate sales. So she was done with the retail space. And I said to Corey, I was like, we have to get this. He was like, and I told him my idea. He's like, that's crazy. I said, you have to trust me. Like, I know my people. Like, we've already built our vintage community. If we build a vintage mall where we're renting out the booth spaces, and we make it about cats, the people will come. It's just like the Field of Dreams. And sure enough, and I just knew. I just believed in it. The idea for the designs of it literally came in the middle of the night. I woke up and I was just laying there, not able to sleep. And it was almost like, just like from the heavens, these like little ideas of like, call it this and have the sign look like this. And I didn't have to think about any of it. It was like the go-kart for you, that it happened so quickly. And I didn't have to question any of it. I just continued forward, and any adversity, little, things that got in the way, the little doubts that I had, which they happened. Of course they happened, especially with Catnip, because it's a rented space by other vendors. They're relying on me to do this well. Otherwise, they're not going to succeed either. So there was a lot of pressure. But I wasn't about to let that stop this idea that I had. And then, we were open a year in September, and it is only, the amount of love and appreciation and community that we've built there is, that's all I wanted in life. That's what I longed for. And we've adopted out. I do fostering. I work with some of the different rescues. I've worked with Best Friends, and I've worked with Kitty Bungalow and Nella Cats and the Stray Cat Alliance. But through them, I've been fostering, and we've adopted out over 50 kittens over the last year.
That's amazing. In only a year.
Yeah.
That's a kitten a week.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you got to tell them about, that's amazing. A kitten a week. It's rescued and saved and finds a home.
I love that you put it that way. That's so funny.
Yeah, you can put that in your slogan.
Yeah.
So, but also you have 2 employees there that are very special. That a lot of the customers are always excited to meet. Do you know those 2 employees?
Furry employees?
One of them's Nigel.
Well, I was going to say, I think all of the employees are special.
Oh yeah, but there's 2 that actually everyone is really.
I know. I wish we would have prompted photos that we could be like Franklin and Nigel.
Franklin.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted shop cats shortly after we opened because, anybody that has the ability to give their home to a cat that needs it or a dog that needs it, just to do that, And I looked at that space as like, of course there needs to be cats. There's no cats, that means there needs to be. So I had reached out. I think I was chatting with you, and that you had gotten me in touch with your wife Lori, who was a photographer for Best Friends, and I had said I wanted like a bonded pair of adults that maybe weren't going to be very easy to place, because it's hard to place adult cats just in general.
Well, the story of them is fascinating because they did not like living anywhere. They couldn't get placed. And Lori, when I told Lori, Cass is looking for shop cats because Best Friends, if you have a shop, or they also have a working cat program for people who have, barns and stuff like that. But she goes, I know the perfect cats. And I go, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, they keep getting returned. And I go, they're the perfect cats. And Lori said, I just know it. I know these cats are the cats for Cass. And I'm always like sometimes in doubt with Lori and her ideas when she says things, like the way she frames it. So I'm like, got my fingers crossed. These cats, it was like it's like they took to that shop instantaneously as if they'd lived there their whole lives. What do you think of that?
Yeah, they are the heart and soul of that place, really. They're Franklin and Nigel are such characters, and they're like mini little kitty celebrities at this point. But when I first got them, I knew that they were both, they're not the affectionate, will come up and rub on you necessarily cats. They're not like that. They've got bold personalities. They're bold, you know? But so when I brought them to the shop, I put an air mattress down for the first night, for the 5 nights. I slept there with them just so they had like an anchor of, you're not alone here. You're never going to be alone. And I wanted to see if they were going to sleep with me. They didn't, which I was super happy about because I didn't want them to, because normally there wouldn't be somebody sleeping there. But they were we bonded. We bonded over those 5 days, and now they know they have that safe place. And that's what it is. They know that that's their home and they're safe there. And all the people that come in, it's, those kitties were not necessarily the quintessential shop cat that you would think of, but they have owned that space, and everybody in that store knows that they own that space.
Yeah, and if you visit anyone, you got to look up because they have a suspended catwalk around the top of the shop. So if you don't see them in the front windows, they like to sunbathe and nap in the front, the showcase windows in the front of the shop. Well, don't let that disappoint you. Just walk inside and take a peek up. You'll either see them up there or sometimes, oh my God, Nigel is, Franklin's the one with the big fur, and Nigel sits like a little gentleman sometimes by the register, and Franklin has his favorite spot up top, his little bed, so it's a real treat. And now you blew my mind when I was there 2 weeks ago. And you're actually a blessing to Burbank because you're bringing spaces alive on the weekends. I noticed, I'm aware. So I go, okay, this was smart. The banks are closed. So she was able to use this bank lot. It's just brilliant. So you got to share now what's going on. And something's going on. If you're in the area, there's going to be another, what would you call it? What do you call it? You're going to have to tell people because it's happening right before Christmas, this coming weekend, which is the weekend of the 14th and 15th, is it? And you could go check all these places out. They're so close. You can walk through them. But tell us a little bit about what's going on now, because the community seemed to really enjoy it. It brought it to life, these places. So you got to share now this venture.
So the Catnip flea crawl is what it is called.
Oh,
But it is produced by, Catnip is kind of the anchor. And this too is, we're raising money to help cats. But it's a flea market. A lot of the neighborhoods in LA have a cool flea market for the neighborhood to go to. Burbank didn't have that. And we
crazy.
love Burbank. It's such a vibrant community. There's so many families. There's so many young artists, old artists. I mean, it's so many eccentrics. Like, it's just such a cool city.
Yes.
So since nobody was doing it, I guess we'll step right in. So the Catnip Flea Crawl, we're on our 6th month, and it's the third Sunday of the month, from 10 to 4. And right now it's in 2 different parking lots. It's in the Bank of America parking lot, which is right next to Catnip Coalition, basically. And then 4 blocks down, right across the street from Play Clothes, the vintage store I was talking about, is the Umi Bank parking lot. And so those 2 parking lots we fill with vintage vendors, local artists, food vendors, food trucks, a little bit of everything. We're all inclusive. We try to keep the participants diverse. But yeah, then also the Catnip lot, which is by the store, is kind of a little more cat centric. Not all of the vendors are doing cat things, but a lot of them are. But we've also built a mini cat carnival. So
Yes.
yeah, our friend Ashley Dreyfus is an amazing artist, has a really distinct, beautiful style. We worked with her to design cat carnival games. And there's this cute little prize wall, and you can buy tickets and you get to play the carnival games and win prizes. And the proceeds are going to our fostering program and working with the rescues that we are. So, yeah, it's just kind of like you don't know when to stop. You step on a ride and it's good and it's, you're having fun and you're feeling good. Like, why would you get off? That's kind of like what it's felt like since Yes Baby has started.
It's
And,
amazing though, but that's amazing because most people will take the ride only so far. I could say that about myself sometimes. I'll get on the ride and then I get to a point I go, okay, that's enough. But you know what? I've had good friends that always kick me further too. Like you said, it's nice to have, like, to know who to share these ideas with and also be receptive to like friends who see more for us than we think. Like, we start getting a little complacent sometimes, and the friends will go, you know what? Did you ever think of doing this? And it'll sound exciting, but I'll also feel myself trying to resist it. And that's how I know it's good and it's for me in a weird way. And my friends go, no, come on, you could do that. It's easy. Yeah, for you. And I'm like, really? But once my mind, like we've been talking about, makes the decision to like, yeah, this is like, once that click happens, that's when the magic happens. It's just that click, because it's like the whole thing comes alive in you. You could feel your whole body get alive with this attractive force, but it's also it's enthusiastic at the same time. Like, ooh, I want to. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm doing it. And there's something wonderful in that attracts all the question, like the resolution to any question and doubt that I may have had. It comes. There's something in you that, ooh, I don't know how this is gonna, but it's gonna. I think it's gonna, and that's all it takes.
yeah. Well, and you're not off the ride. You just wrote a new book.
I know, but you know
Come
how
on.
But now you're getting me excited now for the next, for something else.
Also,
I
I mean,
know.
what you're saying is no one's off the ride. Our minds get on and off the ride every day. Like, that's what I just want people to hear. Like Cass and Darrell and myself and anyone out there are on the same ride. It's just so like Cass, I was thinking, what's something that you would recommend to people that you notice that maybe you do a little differently, that some people get derailed, or if you were going to encourage someone, is there something that you would give to people who maybe are just learning to step out boldly, like to follow their heart's desires.
Well, I think one of the things that's been really important for me is surrounding myself with people that are healthy and are driven and are encouraging and are basically the person that I see myself aspiring to be. That's been, if you don't have a community around you, it can be difficult,
Mhm.
So that's been huge. But really, it's just as simple as just, you know, believing in your ideas.
Yeah.
The world has trained us to be doubtful of everything, and you don't have to do that. I mean, absolutely don't have to do that, and you
Right.
shouldn't do that. And yeah, share your ideas. And if you're sharing your ideas with people that are around you that are also bold and also driven and, wanting to have those big goals and, attaining them or reaching for them at least, they're going to give that, encouragement back to you. And
Yeah.
it's just like, it's exponential. It'll just keep, you
Yeah.
take care of each other and you bring each other up. And
Right. Yeah, there's a boldness. There's something about acting boldly that I'm sure, like you are getting the same ups and downs that someone else is getting, but somehow you're staying connected to that inspiration and you're valuing that inspiration. So rather than it, because we're gonna get there, like we talk about, we like the decision has to be there. I always talk about this with inspiration, like the vision is often front loaded. So in real time, our minds are gonna come up with doubts, fears, and worries. We got to go back within to where that inspiration happened because it was given to us up front, and to stay with the inspiration. And when it doesn't, because our mind's going to go, how do I even know this is the thing for me to do or whatever? But it's like, we know because the inspiration that started it was pure and it was there, and just got to keep taking one step at a time and don't push too hard, and be careful who, I really heard you say, be careful who you say your ideas to, because you say it to the wrong person, they're going to naysay it, and they're going to trigger their own insecurities, and they're going to give you all the reasons why not to do it, right? But like, find the people, or you can even start by listening to this podcast or listening to the things that inspire you. And once these ideas, you get them circulating within yourself, they're magnetic and they will connect you. Because there even in this world, there's people who prey on people who are looking for a community. They'll tell you they're going to sell you a community. You can do this with the ideas within you. You will attract the right people.
Yeah.
They're all around you already. It's just about thinking a new set of thoughts, so that I'm going to say this for myself. It's like just continually updating the way I look at things to see the beauty and the good in the people around me, and recognize my connection with the good instead of judging it subtly or whatever. And just like lately, I've been in this statement. Well, I don't really know what this next big, like what the next inspiring project is, but that's okay because my good can come from anywhere. I've been basically lately saying I don't care where it comes from.
Right.
And as I do that, I have a great, amazing project which is called teaching in a learning center at a public school. I'm a special education teacher that's the job. But I've done this. It's similar to like I've created a community within that school where we look after each other and inspire each other and believe in what's unbelievable to some people. And I not only just mean some people, but I mean what's written in the books that we're given as to how to measure things. We throw all that out the door and love each other and trust in each other and share our visions. And I love what you said about, because I think in the past, sometimes I think, I got to do this. I thought I had to do this on my own. But I love what you said to Corey, which is, no, we got to share it. Because if you share it with the right people, it gets magnified and multiplied. And if I say my inspired ideas to Darrell, he'll immediately say, like it says on the sign behind me, yes. Right? And like when we talk to you, yes. It's like your head, the way your head's nodding now for the people who are, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's like the people who want to be inspired will nod their head, yes.
Oh, well, and I want to say, like, about attracting, what happens is, as long as you're true to yourself, what inspires you, even if you're in the dreaming of it phase, you're going to naturally now, new people are going to show up in your life and you're going to recognize another cowboy. Like you're going to know this guy or this girl, like she's the same as, like you start, like how would I end up meeting you? How did we end up? I just walked in that store and I was like, this place. And I met you and I met the other crazy blonde who's like 6 foot tall and looks like she walked out of a Playboy magazine from the 70s with the big blonde hair. And I'm like, these people are incredible. Like, but I'm recognizing that part of me that I love that I don't always recognize in myself in you. And that's what happens. The people that end up being our community is we just start attracting and then recognizing that part of ourselves that's the truth about ourselves. That's the divine part of ourselves.
Yeah.
And they start showing up and we start going, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And we continue the community now. The naysayers that were there in my habitual way of thinking in the last phase of my development, because we're always developing, progressing, if they're not going to continue to grow, it's not my job to keep trying to lift them along with me, because I will tell you, if you try to do that, they're going to bring you down before you're able to pull them up. So you just keep at it. And you know what? Some of them in time, all of a sudden resurface because they came around and now they're like, they've got it. Something in them clicked. But the other ones will, it's like anything else. They start to atrophy and that's okay. You know, they're seeking their community and I'm moving into it. Everything is developing and changing. I mean, the only thing constant in the universe is change, and that includes our own little community. But the ones that we really see the most admirable characteristics of ourself that we don't often recognize, well, those are the people we seem enamored with. But it's not because they're special and you're not. It's because they have what's inside you and they're letting it out, and you're in love with that part of yourself.
Yeah.
That they're reflecting back to you.
Yes.
So it's like you become instantaneous friends. Just like I felt like that shop had been there forever. I felt like I knew. It wasn't like, oh, who's this strange woman I just met? Because you feel that some places, you know, you meet people and you're like, oh, that was a stranger I just met. But when I meet people with this perspective, where I'm recognizing, oh, like there's something magical here, and I got to remember it's a reflection of something magical in me. It's like, that's when you're like, I feel like I've known this person a lot longer. I mean, now that you're telling me right from the beginning, I felt like, oh yeah, I've known her forever, even though I hardly knew you. And now it's like, you're telling me, wait, I've only known you for like less than 4 years. It's insanity because look how, it's crazy good. So I want people to know that you don't have to go trying to find your community. It's just the beginning of, like you said, having belief in that desire, whatever it is, even just the idea that something good, a new possibility for you, even if you're not sure of what that is right now, if you just begin with, I'm open to new and exciting possibilities for myself, for the perfect place in the perfect way, that I will be able to share my gifts, my unique talents, and be well compensated for them. And you know what, God? I don't know what they are right now, but I know you're going to make it obvious. If you just start with that, then these people are going to start showing up.
Right.
That are in that same wavelength.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing on that I wanted to note is to also realize that you deserve it. Like you deserve it. Like that was something that I had to get past was, you know, as I kept evolving and I was attracting more people that were successful and were, you know, creative and, you know, just these evolved people, I was very like intimidated that I was like, I deserve to be around these people. That's silly. That's of course I deserve that. Like if you're being true to yourself and you're, you know, leading life with love and wanting to grow and connect, then yes, you deserve every single one of those people that is presented to you, and don't be afraid of it. And yes, if they have something that you see, which you mentioned, that it's like, oh, you're so beautiful, or you're so smart, or you're so whatever, reflection. It
Yes.
really is. And
Yeah.
not to be afraid of it and just allow it and accept it. And
Yeah.
we're also not taught to love ourselves
Right.
in this world. And it's so important
Yeah.
to start with that and to teach yourself to do that, because a lot of us have to teach ourselves to do that.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, there's something a lot of people know, like we will project our negative stuff on people and then judge it, but we also project our positive stuff on people and then worship them like they're an idol. If one of the best thing one of the things that's helped me with that is write down everything you appreciate about that other person and then change it to I am this. And your mind will see it. That is who I am. It may not be in the same way. It may be in your own area. Because the other thing that happens when you you guys have been talking about this. One of the things that I've been reading about that's been helping me is redefining myself as an advancing person. I am an advancing person that it brings increase to the people around me, and I am increasing. That alone, if you don't know what you want to do, just affirm I'm an advancing person and I want to bring increase to the people around me, a feeling of increase. That alone will give you a role on any team in any situation. If it's right for you, you'll know. And I just happened to open up this book from Wallace Wattles that I've talking about. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. And I was talking about like, how do you not get stopped by little speed bumps that'll happen? Because they're going to happen. Because our rational mind doesn't really know how things are going to unfold. We have to go through the process, right? And he says, train yourself to think of and look upon the world as something which is becoming, which is growing, and to regard seeming evil as being only that which is undeveloped. Always speak in terms of advancement. To do otherwise is to deny your faith, and to deny your faith is to lose it. And this is where he goes into it. Never allow yourself to feel disappointed. You may expect to have a certain thing at a certain time and not get it at that time. This will seem to be a failure. But if you will hold to your faith, you will find that failure is only apparent. Go on in this certain way, which he's talking about, creative, not competitive, a creative state of mind. And if you do not receive that thing, you will receive something so much better that you will see that the seeming failure was a prelude to a great success.
What page was that on?
There's so many versions of this book. This one looks like it was they based it off of the movie The Secret, because it was the secret behind the secret, but it's Wallace D. Wattles, and the chapter is called Some Causations and Concluding Observations. I think it's the last chapter, chapter 16, and it was like on the second page of the last chapter. But these little tricks we need to constantly reprogram, because the truth is, this is what I found. The truth with the T is that our life is constantly advancing, and it's just up to us to keep up with it, to stay in the flow with it, to keep becoming, to keep realizing that we're becoming, because a lot of this programming about age or this or that will screw us over because it'll leave us high and dry. And we want to be, I'm learning, this is why I've made the decision to be happy, and my subconscious mind has to now follow through with that, because the programs that we're often given don't lead to me getting happier and happier at 50 as a creative person. But I feel like I'm just finding my flow at 50. I'm just finding my legs at 50. I'm just finding out how to be me. And I don't want to.
I've got to be me.
Yeah. And you got to, and this is the other thing, as I've been doing this, like affirming, not only have I decided to be happy, I've decided to be rich, I've decided to be healthy. As I do that, I realize it's the truth of me already. And we got to go into our bold ideas as a success, not like, oh, if this thing happens, then I'll be a success. We're already a success, and we bring that success to our bold endeavors, and that success then inspires the people around us and helps our bold endeavors come true. So
why am I getting blinded?
Well, that's where I was about 30 minutes ago.
Shut.
It's your studio. No, tried to shut it. I'll try to shut it a little more. You want to read this while I do
Oh,
that?
we're going to tell. Okay, I'm going to read this.
Do you want to do the Joyce Kramer reading?
Yeah, I'm going to do this.
You have your glasses?
We got a quick little reading here. And then we could let Cass out of her little room.
Charming home that I'm trapped in.
Yes. So anyway, what did I title? I titled this "Just Take the First Step." This is from a old time Unity minister named Joyce Kramer, who was just all about this stuff, and it's just practical faith, something you could wrap your head around, which is the only faith that's useful. So she says, "I'm willing to learn how to fulfill the dreams God has planted within my heart. Do you have any unfulfilled dreams? Are there things you would like to do or have that are not part of your experience now? Would you like to be different from what you are at this moment?" The great American psychologist William James wrote, "If you care enough for the result, you will attain it." And that's what we're talking about, being enthusiastic about, like Cass was saying, about the desire she had about the Catnip Coalition, and then the desire to bring something like these flea crawls to Burbank. If you just care enough for the result, that's it, not how it's going to happen, just the result, you will attain it. If you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. The key to fulfilling your dream is, do you care enough to work to get what you want in life? Do you care enough to make the effort to become the kind of person you'd like to be? Are you willing to learn and to grow in understanding? If you care enough, then ask yourself, what can I do right now to begin? If you are willing to begin and put yourself into what you do, you are on the way to the fulfillment of your dreams. And then there's a Bible verse here from Matthew 7, verse 7. Keep on asking, and you will receive what you ask for. Keep on seeking, and you will find. Keep on knocking, and the door will be opened.
Yep. 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 I didn't even mention that if you walk into the Catnip Coalition, the first thing you're going to see is a big yellow bookshelf where my wife's iTink Studios stuff is there as well.
Yes.
So it's just amazing how all of our lives in all of these amazing ways, all of our increases all connected between Lori and Darrell and Cass and my wife Jennifer and myself. And it's just bless. The more we bless the people around us, the more that those blessings definitely return to us in ways that we don't even have to calculate or scheme, as Darrell always says. It just
It's
happens.
effortless. It
Yeah,
really
yes.
is effortless. We're weaving our own tapestry together in this strange land in the West.
Right. Yeah, David McClure came on the show, a minister, and he called it the divine thread. These threads are connecting us. And it's no, like, when you stay open to it, and instead of writing off the coincidence, but like, go, wow, that coincidence opens up my heart to realize, dude, our success is guaranteed. Like the things that are being orchestrated on our behalf behind it, beyond what we can even rationally ever comprehend, are so great. So thank you. Cass, by the way, I want to say this. Barbara Weatherman from Florida just said, such a great show with Cass. She is great, giving me a lot of inspiration and food for thought, new thoughts.
See?
So beautiful.
We got
what more can you ask for in
nothing.
life?
That's right.
That's the
Right?
best.
Yeah.
It's just bringing people up and being around magical people like yourselves. I'm so grateful to know both of you.
Well, you're like a big sunshiny beach ball in that, not shape, but like that you float around. You got your own light from within, and it's 1 minute we see you and then you're off. You got to take care of your creative ideas. There's something like you have that creative engine that glows from within out, and people like you inspire us to do the same thing. So Barbara, if you're out here, come out. We'll hit the Catnip Coalition with you when you're out here.
And yes, baby,
yes,
all
baby,
of it.
all of it. Yeah.
Well, and let me, it seems like we're wrapping up, but I wanted to say this. One of my my father, I have so much of his spirit in me, and he is the boldness that I am. But one of his favorite quotes, and you guys probably know this quote, is boldness has genius, power, and
Magic.
magic
in it.
and magic.
By Goethe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
he says, so take the first step.
Wow.
That's what Goethe says.
And that's what that reading was. You called it Just Take the First
Yeah.
Step. And it's from the quote that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Take the first step, for crying out loud. That's amazing.
We got a story about you.
Yeah, because you were saying you don't want to just give your ideas away to people. You know, if it's a negative person, they're not going to give that energy back to you, for crying out loud. And that's just discernment.
Yeah.
We could waste a lot of our time and energy sharing this stuff with people who are just like a vacuum.
Wait, this didn't happen a long time ago. This just happened this morning before she came to the
Yeah,
studio.
don't you remember? She was telling us earlier today while taking her morning walk, Cass ran into a friend, fellow vintage shop owner named Paul, who always seemed to be worried about something. Cass waved.
Hey, Paul, what's wrong? Why do you look so dejected? I never knew she used that word, dejected.
And she said, what's wrong now?
Oh, what's wrong now?
She knew.
This guy's a problem.
Paul replied,
Oh, Cass, I'm in trouble. I need cash for the business and have no idea where to get it from.
Cass suddenly looked relieved.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I was afraid you might think you could borrow it from me. Well, oh, I'm going to let people know if you're in town next weekend near Burbank, come to the Catnip
Flea Crawl.
Flea Crawl in Burbank on Magnolia Boulevard.
You will meet the real Cass most
in
likely.
person, and you might even
I'll be
meet
at the carnival games. You can't miss it.
All right, because
We'll
I
have
like
kittens
going.
in the shop windows that are available for adoption. Lots of
Beautiful.
good food, amazing. It's a great place to get Christmas presents. Hanukkah
Yes.
presents. Well, I guess Hanukkah's over by then, but yeah. I mean,
Yes.
it's a beautiful place to get unique gifts for people you love, and
Wonderful.
and just Burbank as a whole is just it's a really lovely community.
Yes,
And it's a great place to
Yeah.
spend an afternoon with people you love.
I'm going to come again this Sunday.
It's such a unique
Yes,
little
please.
enclave relative to
It really
LA.
is.
Oh, I'm
Also,
gonna,
another great gift for people, Step Out Boldly, The Hidden Meaning of the Statue of Liberty by Darrell Fazaro. It
You can-
really is good. I read it. You know, he's a friend of mine. It's like, hope this is good. Otherwise, it's going to be really awkward next time I see him.
I think
But I
Cass-
was on fire. I read it every morning. I signed a Declaration of Independence, personal independence on the back. You want me to read this?
Well, wait, I was going to say, yeah, but I want to let people know it's so easy if you want to get Christmas gifts with Amazon because you just buy it, put in your friend's address, and you could even have them gift wrap it and write a little note. And it really makes it easy and simple, you know, instead of having it
Yeah.
shipped to you, you wrapping it, you sending it.
It's awesome.
So if you want to get a quick gift, it's the way to go.
This actually goes perfect with this show to end it. It's
Yes.
Darrell Fazaro wrote this personal. That's him. Personal declaration of the personal declaration of independence. Today, I declare my personal independence from the tyranny of the inner critic, the scaredy cat who is obsessed about what others may think about me if I follow my intuition, my heart's desires. I break out of my box with faith, the joyful expectancy that my intuition will guide me in wonderful ways. From now on, I declare my freedom to recognize, trust, and act on my intuitive hunches. I step out boldly. Then you can sign it and date it. And then below it, it says, signing this will make me subject to improved health, happiness, love, success, and prosperity, as well as an overall feeling of generosity and love toward my fellows.
It's true. Cass is proof. You heard it today, folks.
And you know
We
what I
all
always
are.
say?
I know what we both always say.
Oh, I eat watermelon and I have for years singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. I like watermelon, but it wets my ears singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Baby grass tastes good to a moo cow's mouth singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. But I like chicken 'cause I'm from the south singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Fare thee well, Mr. Gloomby. on your way. If you think you're gonna worry, you can stop it in a hurry, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day.
Thank you for visiting.
Cass, we love you.
Darrell and
Catnip
Ed.
Coalition, visit it.
And you can go to Darrell and
Follow them on
Ed.
Instagram.
DarrellandEd.com to find easy links to
Fare thee
everything
well,
we do.
fare thee well, Mr. Gloom, be on your way. If you think you're gonna worry, you can stop it in a hurry, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Woo!
We did it.